Hi, my name is Draper, and I live at 1902 Fair Street. And I'm here to express my opposition to the rezoning of the property at 1901 3rd Street, which is a 3-minute walk or less than 1-minute drive from my home. The owners have applied to rezone the property from residential to business. We bought this rezoning 6 months ago when the intent was to turn it into a gas station / truck stop. The realtor for the property said that the gas station deal is gone, but that's not guaranteed. According to the ordinance, anything listed as Zone B business can be changed to any number of things listed in that ordinance, including a gas station. That's my biggest concern. Once this property has been sold, the gas station deal could come back, or any other idea that an outside builder, buyer, or developer who might have no stake in the city and has no awareness of its culture and history, or may not have concern over the residents that it affects. One thing we've been told is that business is coming, we can't prevent it. We're not asking to prevent it. We want you to be strategic about it. We don't want this business right on top of our quiet residential neighborhood. We understand that Floresville is continuing to grow, and there are many uncertainties, especially about what the future of Floresville looks like. One of the main topics of discussions that I've heard from both the City Council and the FEDC, excuse me, is about the city's comprehensive plan. That plan is in need of an update. The city is working on obtaining grant money to fund the plan, but that plan requires input from citizens, residents, stakeholders, and elected officials who promise to uphold and defend the laws and ordinances of the city and nation. The city's land use plan listed on the city's website says, the future land use plan anticipates a preferred growth pattern for the city designed expressly to preserve land areas for orderly development. The plan also considers a general transition of intensity from higher to lower as a way of protecting residential neighborhoods and their character, preserving high visibility areas for retail land use to promote balanced economic development. As my new friend and neighbor Astrid said last week, we'd like you to consider layering commerce where it belongs. Please protect this quiet residential area. This is just one pathway into downtown Floresville, an area located adjacent to a beautiful public park and a national trail. We're asking that you protect this little piece of residential area. We're asking at the very least that you wait to approve this very type of rezoning until every one of those residents, stakeholders, and elected officials gets to share their hopes for the future of the city of Floresville during public hearings during the development of a comprehensive plan. Or even asking that you deny the rezoning and update the ordinance to provide more structure to what types of businesses can be put near homes, parks, and trails. Lastly, the realtor at the last meeting mentioned that there have been lots of inquiries about the property, but I feel that that's because it's listed in advertisements as a potential commercial property, but it's not yet so. Please be considerate and think about the things that we're saying. The residents are here to speak. We deserve an ear that's listening. Thank you.
Thank you. Monica, do you want me to wait for the rest until the item is up, or do you want me to go ahead and
They
entertain
can,
more?
whenever they want to do.
Okay. At this moment, I'm sure that you're going to want to speak, so if you'll please come to the podium and state your name. I just want to mention one thing, that each member of the public will be limited to 5 minutes to make remarks during the general comments period, which is what we're in right now, and 1 minute following each consideration action item. Okay, just in the essence of time.
No worries, completely understandable. So good evening, I'm David Simmons. I live at 1903 3rd Street, directly across from Con Park and adjacent to the property in question at 1901. I respectfully request that you deny the applicant request to rezone 1901 3rd Street from R1 to Business B. I actually believe our own ordinances and state laws require you to deny this rezoning. So our adopted future land use plan designates 1901 as low density residential. That designation does not currently include Business B or commercial uses. So straight rezoning to Business B, which does permit heavy use businesses, currently conflicts with the future land use map and must be denied absent a formal plan amendment in some of those public hearings Rachel was mentioning. This has not happened yet. Several seats on the city council recommended that the future land use plan be amended before proceeding with the rezoning at the last city council meeting. The attorney at that meeting showed that the plan does have some conflict, but he did make it sound more as a guide than a requirement to follow. I contend that it actually is a requirement. Although comprehensive plans, including a future land use plan, start off as advisory, Texas Local Government Code, so Texas Law 211.004 provides that a city, quote, may adopt a comprehensive plan by ordinance. A city does not have to do this, but it can, and Floresville did. I got some legal input as to why a city might do this by ordinance, and the reasons tend to be to ensure every rezoning or code change aligns with the official map and policies, to provide clear enforceable rules and a solid legal foundation against challenges such as this, and to resolve conflicts in favor of the adopted plan when those challenges occur, such as this. So in our city ordinance 153006, it's quote, the future land use plan on file in the office of the city secretary is hereby adopted as the guiding document for land use and development regulations of the city. So even though it does mention guiding document in that wording, the important words are actually hereby adopted. I'll reference again that the document is already a guide just by being the future land use plan. So to formally adopt through city ordinance is, under the intent of Texas law, to provide rules and legal foundation during challenges, one like we are discussing this evening. Texas courts have actually uniformly held that ordinance adopted comprehensive plan map controls zoning decisions and cannot be treated as advisory. In Brown v. Town of Hollywood Park, the Fourth Court of Appeals affirmed that an adopted plan map binds the city zoning. In Barr versus City of Sinton, Texas Supreme Court reaffirmed that municipal zoning decisions must adhere to ordinance adopted plans. I actually found no case ever in our state's history allowing deviation from an adopted plan once it has been adopted by ordinance. That's kind of the big crux of the whole thing. Cities have decided to ignore ordinance requirements before, and from every single time that I could find that the state has gotten involved, it has always sided in favor of an ordinance adopted plan, never once in the alternative. I do understand that the city is growing, and people, us included, do want to see it grow, but the right type of growth. I also understand that the city has probably erred before in deviating from the future land use plan in the hopes of not halting progress. I get that, but previous violations don't legalize a new breach. The code remains the code. I've been stressed time and time again that at P&Z is strictly down to the rules, less anything else. And so I would say that with our ordinance, state law backing it, and the fact that we have adopted the future land use plan, the future land use plan does designate this as LDR, it is y'all's duty to apply it consistently today and deny this rezoning as it stands. You have the local community asking you not to do this. We all do our best to try and attend every meeting. I know that every few weeks it is surprisingly still pretty difficult. Our future land use plan, though, through city ordinance and again backed by law, should necessitate denial.
Excuse me, thank you, that's time.
To be fair, I had 4:20. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
I just am looking at my phone, I'm not timing.
No, I think it was basically the last sentence anyways. I was just saying that, the community does do our best to keep showing up. I think if you approve this zoning, it would be ignoring community concerns, our adopted policies, our ordinances, and state law as well.
Thank you.
David's my husband. We live directly backing up to the property that is in question. Literally, their property is within inches, or their building is within inches of our property. I want to begin by highlighting the growing trend.
Can you please state your name?
Oh, my name is Astrid Simmons, Astrid Kravitz Simmons. I want to begin by highlighting a growing trend in today's home buyers. This generation is seeking out green space. People are moving away from busy commercial zones, instead looking for quiet, natural areas where they can Our neighborhood provides exactly that. A beautiful, family-centered setting that backs up to open fields and a walking trail that many of us share and value deeply. Rezoning this land for business use would take away from the character. Secondly, the property in question has been marked primarily as commercial opportunity in the selling, not as a residential home. This creates a self-fulfilling situation because it's being promoted as a business site. It's priced in a way that makes it unaffordable for a residential buyer. Naturally, no one is looking for a home is going to consider it as a current price point. This doesn't mean that there's no residential interest. It means according to our city ordinances, anything that's allowed under, that marketing and pricing have discouraged it from the start. Also, even though the rezoning is for B according to the city ordinances, anything that is allowed under that category, which is businesses such as truck stops and shopping strip centers, will be allowed once it's rezoned. I hope you can see how this is not ideal for those of us who live up against and around this property. It's ideal that the family, it's clear that it's ideal for the family selling the property to try to maximize the return, and that's understandable, but personal financial goals shouldn't come to the expense of the neighborhood's integrity or the well-being of the families who are already living there and who will continue to live there once this is built. Allowing one property to change use from residential to B will alter the face of the neighborhood permanently, while going against our own city planning. As citizens, we are following our due process. The city, we hope, should uphold their side of it as well. Especially since it's things that was put in place by the city. Finally, this isn't an area for wide separation between properties. These are not large lots. Our homes are close together. Their barn site is inches from our property line where our children play. Introducing commercial activity this close to existing homes would bring increased noise, traffic, and disruption. Highway 97 is already busy to navigate at certain times of the day. Adding business traffic would make that even worse. And as I said in the following meeting, I think focusing on like crosswalks and fixing that intersection would be better before adding more traffic. In closing, this request isn't just about one property, it's about the precedent sets and impact it would have on every family who values the peace, safety, and residential nature of this area. I respectfully ask the council to maintain the current residential zoning to preserve the character of the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so I'm Tiffany Dawson. I live on Brick Street, which is within the 200 feet of 1901 3rd Street. I'm against the proposed rezoning of 1901 3rd Street from residential to business. Other people here tonight will be talking about points that I more than agree with, but I also wanted to bring to light the El Camino Hike and Bike Trail. We moved into our home in March of 2022, and this is a trail that I use very frequently to walk my dogs along with my children. I understand that the city maintained trail ends at Highway 97, but the trail itself does continue across Highway 97. When we found this part of the trail, which was the 97 to K Street, my husband called the city and made sure that we could walk and maintain the trail, such as mowing and trimming branches. We were ecstatic that I wouldn't have to walk with a stroller and multiple dogs down busy 181 and 97 to get to the main trail, which is what I was doing. Ever since we had the go-ahead, I've been walking that trail to continue on to the main trail. I've been using the trail well before the first half of the trail was maintained by the city and paid. I don't take pictures every time I go on the trail. I mean, I know my kids and dogs are cute, but I brought a few here with me to show, indeed, that this trail is used regularly since April of 2022. So if you guys would like to take a look, this is the trail that is not highway. There's a lot. I only brought 22.
Okay. Let's start here.
So I've heard that somebody has indicated like a use of the trail between Highway 97 and K Street. As you can see, that is far from the truth. And in fact, we used it this last weekend to go to and from the Peace Festival, David, who are here with us tonight, also use the trail as it connects right up against their property. The trail is backed up against land on 1901 3rd Street. Many businesses would promote more traffic, safety concerns, and noise right up against the trail. It would disturb the wildlife like foxes, which, if you can see in most pictures, is something we call it smallest fox, and deer that I commonly see while walking. It would make the trail more unsafe for my children and dogs with increased foot and motor traffic. The children and I love looking at the houses near the trails, especially when decorated for holidays, along with looking at trees, birds, and old parts of Floresville, such as the train station. Being a business or businesses is an eyesore. We moved out here to get away from generic, hectic city life. We want to see the land and trees instead of land, ordinary buildings, potentially with bright lights. Another thing to note, Comp Park is kitty corner to 1901 3rd Street. Parents are more comfortable in a residential setting compared to business. Residential setting brings more calmer family feel than a business fast-paced busy feel. Parents want to feel safe while letting their kids play. The City of Floresville Parks Master Plan has concerns from residents about the safety of the Comp Park. I do believe that the safety issues have been addressed, and I feel like having land next to the park was zoned as business would be taking a step backwards from the hard work already applied, along with blatantly going against the plan. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dean Dawson. I'm her husband. I also live on 3rd Street. I want to talk about the rezoning at 1901 3rd Street as well. For my part, I'm against this rezoning for many reasons. However, tonight I only speak of one. This rezoning is unnecessary and will damage downtown businesses as well as hurt property values at or near the corner of 97 and Old 181. It is unnecessary because as we speak, there are no fewer than 9 unoccupied commercial/retail lots and buildings in the downtown area. Putting yet another storefront will not fix the problem of vacant stores downtown. It will make the problem worse as more people will be dissuaded from going downtown to the downtown area, reducing visibility of downtown businesses to people and reducing the income and cash flow coming in downtown. The problem of vacant commercial buildings downtown cannot be solved by adding a larger supply of vacant buildings nearby, but rather forms of rent control or even penalties on property owners who have vacant buildings for long periods of time downtown. Recently, Fluff's White House Cafe, a restaurant located in a Floresville historical landmark, was forced to close due to such high rent prices, even though they were busy every time I went there. The last time I went to Fluff's, I went with my father and my family, and my father lives in Alabama. We were able to coax the servers into letting us explore the upstairs area where allegedly somebody had been murdered way in the past. And although long macabre, it's certainly a tourist attraction. Currently, no tourists are able to go inside and see inside the building, upstairs or downstairs, because we cannot seem to keep that location open. Along with many downtown businesses, Fluff's made it through COVID. Fluff's made it through COVID, but it couldn't survive Floresville rent prices. Another business that was forced to move to Poth because of rent wasn't in Floresville was Ryan Pediatrics. She was located next to the old hospital, which a year and a half later became the new RX Bakery and Coffee Shop, which also had to close, leaving yet another vacant building where ignore spider webs right now, in preparation for Halloween, no doubt. If attracting customers to a growing Floresville is the main goal, filling those vacant buildings should be the #1 goal of this committee. Attracting more businesses can be achieved at least in part, by large, lavish, peanut-themed signs pointing downtown, or even a giant paper-mache peanut that maybe could be made by the high school or middle schoolers. Something to make us unique and memorable, and cement our identity as peanut-crazed people. As a truck driver, I love exploring small, unique towns on my drives, as much as time permits. I don't care to visit the towns that have the same stores left and right. I can buy things like that off of Amazon. When family visits, we take them to mom and pop shops, show them downtown and other small towns nearby. Uniqueness is what makes us better as a town, not just growth. In closing, we must get our landlords under control and attract businesses downtown. This is how we will thrive and grow as a community, not ignore what's working and build elsewhere. What are we teaching kids these days? Fix what's broken, not throw it away.
Are there any more comments?
I would have waited to the other part, but 1 minute may not be enough. Fred Lois, Floresville, representing, the owners of 1901 Third Street, Ms. Stadler and Ms. Miller. I did give each of you a handout that you can take a look at. And the reason I wanted to give that to y'all is I think it's kind of important to put this kind of in perspective a little bit. And the major thing we want to keep in mind is the highest and best use of this property for the city. If you'll look at, I believe it's page 4, that I gave you some highlighted sections. These properties still are obviously are zoned R1, but the appraisal district has all the properties that are in yellow being appraised as commercial. So commercial and business is already there at that corner. Just the city hasn't come up yet, either through land use or rezoning requests to get those things zoned correctly. But those properties highlighted in yellow, you can see right next to the park, right across the our property we're talking about, are being taxed at a commercial rate, are being appraised at a commercial rate. Also, you know, to some of these people's concerns, this property being rezoned business and something done with it on a business basis is really not going to help these people's concerns. They're talking about the old rail line that goes behind this property. I don't believe it's owned by the city yet or turned to the actual trail yet. But if you get something in there, maybe they'll add proper lighting, make it easier access, maybe encourage someone to make it a formal trail. Also, if you look on the page 5 they gave y'all with the traffic counts from TxDOT, if this property gets developed into something that's light commercial or light business rather, you can see those traffic counts are there already. So maybe that will encourage either TxDOT or the city to join together and make a real formal crosswalk where you push the button and you cross safely. Right now, you don't have that, but the traffic's already there. So maybe this development of this property will entice the city or the TxDOT to put some there to help these people get across and be more safe going to the park. And then also, I think if you look at page, maybe the very last page, or excuse me, not the last page, but you'll see there's a page in there, I think it's page 2 or 3, or 3 or 4, that shows we're only 1.4 miles from the event center. This corner is a direct entryway from Pleasant and Alsco County to come into the city. And if you wanted to do something with the downtown businesses, if you put some nice sort of business deal right there, and that's gonna get them to come into town, and they wanna go, take a left and go towards downtown. Development is coming to Floresville. I think it's important that we do it correctly. To be honest with you, I don't know how the land use is gonna come out, but I would rather see this property zoned as a business than with land use zoned as commercial. Because business is still gonna keep it kind of what we wanna do with it. It's a much better rezoning than doing the commercial. If the land use comes in, look at those other properties that are already taxed as commercial, you may be not getting what you want. It is an entryway to the city, like I said. Also, hope you have it also, I think I put it with the packet. There's a letter there from the property owner directly across from 97, Mr. Sherman Posey, who says he is in favor of the rezoning as well. So again, I think the highest and best use for this property would be a business rezoning. And with all due respect to people that have spoken, if you look also on page 4 or 5, the people that do live on Frick Street, with all due respect, this property that we're trying to rezone is not in that neighborhood. You know, they're at the very end of that, when they're on Frick Street off of K Street, it is a little bit of a distance from our property. If they're trying to get down from their place down to the park, again, a crosswalk that TxDOT or the city gets put in there, might make their job a little bit easier. If they're walking that trail park behind 1901, maybe we'll get some additional lighting in there and make it easier for them to use that. Even if the city hasn't taken it over, they haven't made an official, trail thing yet. So I appreciate your,
30 seconds.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Hello, my name is Lillian Snell. I live at 1909 Brick Street, and I am against. I do not agree with it because as a 16-year-old, I'm in high school, and it's scary. As much as we are alone, it's still scary to go outside, and there are still people who are looking for kids. Putting a place there and being next to a high school and a park where a lot of kids can be targeted, I don't think it's right, as well as the point of there are a lot of places that can be taken over, a lot of centers, or places in the center, like arcades that can be built and stuff like that for the high schoolers, middle schoolers that we could use. I feel like it's very bare right now. That's all I have to say, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think we've had everybody in the room that wanted to speak. We appreciate your comments, and we will take them all into consideration. At this moment, we're going to move to number 3, new business. A, consideration and action on a request to rezone a 3.73 acre tract of land located at 1901 3rd Street, rezoning from R1 residential to B business. At this moment, I'll ask for citizen comments and remind that anybody that does speak, that they are limited to 1 minute.
I'd just like to respond to one thing, that the young lady did mention there. She has a viable concern, which I forget to mention, that I mentioned last time. But that old hospital that is there, it is a danger zone for kids. If you get some development there on that corner from our piece of property there, it's only gonna make someone come in and do something with that dilapidated property. That is a danger zone there, it's an abandoned building, and it's right next to the park. So if we can do something with that corner and enhance that, maybe we can bring some other people to come in and try to fix that problem that we have there. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, in response to having increased lighting on the trail, actually that's what we don't want. We want to keep this smaller. We don't want more lights in our area. We like being able to see the stars, knowing that there's not a lot of foot traffic. So as I appreciate the safety concern and addressing lights back there, that is something that honestly we would not like added into addition. We want it to be more nature-based. Thank you.
As a resident of Brick Street, I heard what, Mr. Omasor said. I believe that the ordinance should be widened in particular cases like this because it affects so many people, including notices that go out to people who use the park, notices to people who bury their family in nearby cemeteries. These are all people that are impacted by this development. My home is 3 minutes of a walk, 2 minutes of drive or less. And secondly, regarding the trail, I can't speak for Claudia Garza, she's not here, but she was here during the last rezoning application, and she spoke against it on behalf of the committee, that they are trying to obtain that unaffiliated piece for the trail itself. Thank you.
Thank you.
So everything everyone else has said, I fully agree with. My focus was on, what I can find in ordinance and law, just because it really reinforced with all my questions that what the rules are dictates the decision heavily more here, and the city council is kind of more circumstantial, I suppose. I would still say, there's been a lot of what-if scenarios going on. Some of them I don't think that's necessarily what would happen. I'm definitely more concerned about bad things that could happen, but I would say, aside from that, what is right now is we did adopt the future land use plan by our city ordinance, and from everything I read, in any form I could think of, once the city does that, that's supposed to go from, it's no longer just a guide, like, these are enforceable rules. And if people challenge it, the rules, from what I read, are supposed to be enforced. I do get that some decisions are circumstantial, maybe it's deviated from that in the past, but from what I'm reading, the rules say it shouldn't happen. And there's a lot of people here who don't want it.
Thank you.
I just want to follow up and say that, this isn't, if you're wanting to do what's better than the city, the people that live in the city are here. The people that live next to this building or the construction that will be going on are here. My kids cannot walk on our driveway without accidentally going into these people's property. It's so close to our home, and I definitely don't think it's a good spot. I mean, usually sometimes there's a street in between, like if it's in a neighborhood, there's a street in between, it's like a block away. This is right up next to our property, and I just really wish you would highly consider that for the people that are actually living here and that are in the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Annette Reyes. I live at 1911 3rd Street. I work from home, and I moved from a huge city to this small city for a reason, because I love the peace and quiet. That street is really busy with the 18-wheelers. It's very noisy. And like I said, I do work from home, and it's just, the traffic, if there's more traffic, it's just gonna get worse. I can bear with it now, but these 18-wheelers are still engine braking down that street. It's very loud, it's very scary. I feel for these kids, I feel for the parents here, because it's just, it's very nerve-wracking sometimes. So, and that's just what I wanna say, I'm not for this getting a new business there with more traffic, with more 18-wheelers or whatever that they're gonna build there. A gas station is what I heard. That's just, I'm totally against that, but I just wanted to say that. Say what you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I also walk this trail a lot by myself. As I've stated, it's scary to go by yourself a lot of places, even as an adult, because of these people, and there are, I feel it would be better to do it in more of the center of town. I walk this trail a lot of people walk this trail, and we care for our community.
I will call for a motion.
Can I ask a quick?
Sure.
So, in this area, I've got this, minimal flood hazard, that's the only thing that's going on in this area, there's nothing else, that it just has a minimal flood area, like the rest of the land that's in that area? I'm trying to understand your,
That piece of property is not in the flood.
okay, so, well,
Our
what process
property,
is,
our property is not in the floodplain, the city park is in the floodplain.
yeah, but across it says area of minimal flood hazard, zone X, so, on
That's, we're, zone X is 300 or whatever, our property is not in the flood zone.
okay.
No, it's actually fine. The whole piece of property is not in the flood zone.
Do y'all wanna speak on,
Yeah,
So with this piece of property, it's not in the flood zone.
okay, yeah, it just, that one piece, whatever I was looking at right here, it just
Yes.
says zone X, so I was like,
Yes, sir. Yeah, zone X is actually a 500 year. But it's, so like, to answer your question, it's not in the flood zone.
okay,
That's just what FEMA calls it, zone X, that's 500 years.
yeah.
So I just want to make a few comments before a motion is made. One thing I would ask everyone, all of us, all of you, is that this request is strictly asking for a zoning change. Whatever business decides to buy this property will still have to come back to the planning and zoning committee, to the possibly. When you look at the highest and best use of land, you have to consider those things. I have nothing but total empathy for the residential neighbors because my own property is being affected by something also. So I fully understand your concerns and your worries. But this particular piece of business is strictly moving from residential to business. Previously, it was being asked to move from residential to commercial, which is a much broader.
It was business.
No, it was business.
It was always business.
It was business?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, like I
But
said,
it encompassed what they were wanting to put in at that time.
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
We were told by the city attorney and city council that once it's approved, like if it's approved here, and then it goes to city council and it's approved for business B, anything in there can be built there. That's what we were told by the city lawyer. And so that there would be no other hearing, like if they changed their mind, it could change to anything under that umbrella. I know seat 5 asked about that.
Which is true, in the business zone, there are a lot of things that are allowed in business zone, but we still have to go through, if someone wants to buy, we still have to go through planning, plan review.
And that does have to be approved by planning and zoning as well as the council.
But
So,
we don't have a say what business goes there. It could be a bake shop, it could be literally anything.
Well, actually, the city has ordinances, so
The
those.
city
they
does,
have-
but we don't have a say as people who live right
The
next.
city has ordinances about those kinds of properties. But we can't debate this right now, we've got, to move on. I empathize with all of you, like Deborah Stolt said, but at this point, this is only a zoning change request, and it's the task at hand that we need to, go ahead and decide on, so. At this moment, if there's a motion on the floor, I'd appreciate.
Can I ask a question? It's just random, it could be a dumb question. But what he said about it going from a low density residential straight to a B, is that a problem?
What do you mean, Paul?
I mean, do we have something that the city adopted that says we don't do that? And all of a sudden we're trying to do that?
so you would abide by the future land use plan and map,
Uh-huh.
but you can also recommend to, amend the future land use map.
So then
So-
should we be voting to amend?
So it depends, we would wait till y'all make a motion to see what y'all are gonna do, so if you do approve it, then we would come out and tell you the rest of what needs to be done prior before you make your motion to decide. And also, if it does it does get changed, there's still plats we have to look at and get recorded and get approved. And also, during those times, there are always citizen comments to be heard. It's not, if it was to get changed, you never have a voice at all after that, you still have a voice.
So the point is,
This is not the last call.
no, but they should be putting the cart before the horse then. We're actually acknowledging that there is a problem. If we force the city to go back and adjust the future land increase plan, then it'll come back to us so that we're following the rule and we're not amending it. Because basically what we're trying to decide on is what is the future of Floresville.
And I don't know what y'all are gonna motion to.
Well, we don't know either.
So
We're
that's
all,
what
you
y'all-
know,
once
we're
y'all
all
get together,
separate,
then-
different people too, but we're trying to find to the bottom of it of, are we amending something that's already,
You're not amending anything there. And how you answer today, we would have to go with the rest of it.
Kenneth, what's the staff recommend?
You need to stand up to the
I-
What's the staff recommend?
yeah, that's,
I have a follow-up question. When is this comprehensive plan supposed to be approved?
So, we have our current comprehensive plan that we have. If something was to be decided to approve it, then y'all would recommend to us to amend our, future land use, this future land use map to consider the business. If you're talking about what's in store for the future to change our old, that's something way different than what we're talking about. We're not even talking about that piece. We're just talking about the future land use map that we have now that was made in 2014.
What's in place right now?
But also understand that you're looking at a future land use map that was adopted in 2014. These things are usually updated every 5 years, and the city unfortunately is behind, and that's why we're trying to get caught up right now.
so it sounds like they need to get caught up for us to be making our
decisions.
That would take probably the better part of a year, because they'd have to find a firm.
And that's the city's
And
problem.
that's the city's,
And is that the plan to have
And
somebody?
we're actually in the process of doing
That's
that.
the problem with government.
because
We're behind, so let's. do
And even if
something.
that, we don't even know what to start for that area, we should, that's what that would go through with that whole process.
I might just point out that,
I don't think you can.
that you take no action on it, we're still going before the council, according to the city.
yeah,
So the city's not gonna,
yeah, we understand.
You're saying no matter what we do, the city's gonna make a decision,
Exactly.
is what you're saying.
yeah, just,
I make a motion to not approve.
I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor? All opposed? I don't know.
Did you?
You don't know?
In a motion,
Not approved. Robin, second. We have two
I'm
against.
trying to, yeah, before we go to, I'm trying to get to the bottom of this, so we're basically,
We say no and then we commit, we vote to commit, right? I think that's the right step to take instead of just going over something that the city adopted in 2014.
because we're,
No, that's not right.
yeah, that's all I'm trying to do is to make sure that we're not setting precedents for the next 10 developments that pop up because you've already, done this. I actually
So what
see,
president, you say, you still have that decision, just like Corey said, you deny it. So he's denying for the reason of what's in state already, what's on paper. So that's what his decision is. If you're to approve it, then we would go with another, with that approval, you would have to recommend staff to amend this map to show business, and then we would have to bring that back and, have a decision on that part, and then we'd have to bring that other piece back to make that a zone for business. It's a longer process, but that's why I was saying it depends on what your answer is gonna be.
yeah, I'm gonna vote no.
No to approve it. You're against it.
I'm against,
Okay.
because of how it's getting
Okay,
presented.
so we have 2 for and 3 against. Okay, at this moment, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Kenneth Linhart.
Are you good? So second is, new business is consider an action on a request to rezone 5-acre tract on land that's located at 10, Business Loop 181 North from an R1 to a C commercial. Citizen comment. You don't have any citizen comment? So I'm gonna need to make a motion, on this.
I'll make a motion to deny. To not accept it, right? Is that what we need to say?
On the B? No, this one's different. This one is for the 10-acre, this is, yeah, this is from
On business loop.
Luke, yeah,
So moving it from a residential to a commercial.
yeah, on 181,
It's all commercial.
it's all commercial.
I was against it last meeting. I want to wait to hear about the future of our comprehensive plan.
You didn't vote last week.
This one is,
Is the brand,
yeah,
is this a brand new one?
yeah,
Yes, this didn't get voted on.
yeah, this is commercial.
I'm sorry, nothing, not finished up.
See, this one's all commercial, this is all.
And so the folks that were here today are not
No,
talking
This
about
is
the
a
second
separate
No.
property, in a separate location.
yeah, this is a completely different.
Different agenda item.
Then why was this passed over to my colleague here? Why?
She is abstaining from the item, so she cannot have anything to do with the property.
So that's why I thought this was the same property that we looked at last time.
It was on there, and there was no action taken because we did not have a complete form for the property.
Okay, sorry.
For that.
This is all completely.
But I think last time,
This
because
is
there
the,
was so many public comment on the first item, people thought it was in the same location. It's 2 different locations.
Yeah, this is all commercial.
If you're aware where Northcrest is at, it's right across the street from it. that part was annexed in. And the other half of it was a zone commercial. So this other part, it's all part of the same property, except this part was annexed in. That's the part they want to continue to making it commercial like the other side is already.
I just remember looking at this last time and was not in agreement with it either. And I'm okay if I'm the only one not in agreement with that.
That's fine. It's just there
It's
was
my
an action
opinion.
taken for the other part.
That's fair.
So we have a motion.
To deny.
All in favor? I do not have to say.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. All in favor? I'll return it back.
Okay, with that, we will adjourn.